I've been drawing comics for 30 years, and in that time I have produced thousands of pages, and I have also studied the work of other artists on thousands more pages. And the more I learn, the more I come to realize that there are things that you can do in a comic strip that only work in a comic strip and don't work anywhere else. To share this idea with you, I'm going to talk you through three very different examples of the way sharing an idea, in this case a piece of story, works in a comic book that would have to work differently in prose, in animation, in TV or film. So the first example that I'm going to show you is from a collaboration with a fellow Glaswegian, Grant Morrison. This is a graphic novel called We Three, and it's about a cat and a dog and a rabbit who've been wired into high-tech suits of armor. We're going to concentrate on the top panel from this double-page spread. We're looking here at the cat fighting soldiers. She's firing razor-sharp projectiles from between her metal claws and moving left to right through a few seconds of time and about 10 meters of space. In prose, there would be no images to support this, and in film or TV, the action would be described with moving pictures rather than stationary pictures, and with sound rather than silence. But that's kind of needless to say. The crucial difference here is that in film or TV, the pace of the action and the subsequent duration of the scene would be dictated by the director, irrespective of how complex the scene is. Where here, what we have is an image that can be read immediately and at arm's length. One kinetic image of a cat strobing through soldiers, or on closer inspection, it can be read as an intricate logical sequence, something that can only be done in comics. The soldiers, the whole scene is seen through these windows of time, with the cat moving between them. The second example is from another collaboration with another fellow Glaswegian, the writer Mark Miller. Here we have a team of superheroes having a difficult time fighting a particularly difficult foe, until one of them, a super psychic, traps our bad guy in a psychic prison cell. We wanted the reader to know that this was an artificial construct within the fiction of the story, not a scene change or teleportation. The psychic prison cell, is made up of memory and imagination, much like the way I create the drawings to tell the story. When I have to depict a scene or an environment, I have a mental image in my head which I jot down as a very loose, rough sketch, usually in a light blue pencil. I use this as the underdrawing for the more detailed finished line work that I do in black. Loose colour notes, and then finished detailed colour. The first thing I did was I took the slope of the hillside from the previous panels and made it into the slope of a sandy beach. I set a prison cell-sized cube round the antagonist, and then from memory and imagination started sketching in the seaside scene that is his prison environment. If we look at the periphery of this image, we're seeing this illusion or construction at its very earliest stages. As we move in towards the walls of the cell, we start adding detail and colour until we get to the centre, where the illusion has been realised to the same degree as the character himself. So by showing the artistic process that's creating the image, we're not just showing that this is an artificial construct or an illusion within the story, we're also offering an analogous explanation to how it's actually being created. The third example is very different again. This is me and Grant Morrison again on a comic called Pax Americana. And what we're looking at here is 3 separate narratives from 3 separate periods in time playing out in the same physical space. This is a physical space. This is one large room seen from a high vantage point. This is the pencils, the inks, and the final colours. If we concentrate on the yellow panels, we see what's happening in this room during the day. This female character is bidding a very reluctant farewell to her partner. In the red panels, we see the same character 10 or 12 hours later, at night time, in on her own, hearing a noise, going for the gun, and ultimately being killed by an intruder. And in the blue panels, 2 nights later, we see another character turning up to conduct his own investigation the night after the police have conducted theirs. We could follow these narrative threads individually, or we can work our way left to right, top to bottom, through the whole sequence. So to recap, we have action moving through time and space that can either be read as one continuous kinetic image or read as a sequence. We have an illusion or construction within the story being depicted and explained by showing the artistic process that's depicting it. And we have 3 separate narratives from 3 different periods of time playing out in the same physical space. These are just 3 of countless examples of things that only really work this way in comics. You already knew what the comic strip is, but now I hope you've got an idea of how and why comics are so unique. Thanks very much.